Down the short side goes Holmes over to Burke, and he's in. Oh, Billy Holmes, well read. I just said he's the conductor of this team, and he is. What an integral part he is of this side, Bill Holmes. Now through Ovens. Morrissey, the short pass was Craig Spark. Back to Ovens. Oh, gem of a try.
Good afternoon, Chris Bombolas for Nine's Wide World of Sports. Welcome to our coverage of the Winfield Cup. This afternoon, of course, it's the big one for 1989, the grand final, and a snippet there of the two teams involved in the big encounter. Well, a great crowd has gathered at Lang Park for the occasion, and a few clouds hanging over headquarters, so there could be a bit of rain, but let's keep our fingers crossed. Well, so far this season, Valleys have been successful on all three occasions against the Jets. In the Winfield Cup, 2 wins for the Diehards. In round 1 at Newman Oval, they defeated Ipswich by 10 points to 6. And in round 2, it was 17 points to 12 in favour of the Diehards. But, of course, it's finals football this afternoon, and it's a different kettle of fish. All right, time now to check out the thoughts of our commentators, Alan Thomas, Andrew Slack and Rod Tiley.
Well, thanks very much, Chris. Well, Andrew, a repeat of last year. We both went for Valleys last year. We were right. I think Ipswich can win this year, and I think one of the biggest factors is going to be this heat. They've done it hard coming through the semis. I think Valleys might get tired. I think Ipswich will get away with it.
I agree with you, Alan. You're the horse racing man, but I'm going to go on the form today, and the form of Ipswich during the semi-finals has been brilliant. I think the best of any side this year. Valleys were pretty good in their final against Easts. I think if they're going to win today, Richard Boyes, second rower, who had a blinder that day, he needs to do another one. But Ipswich, I think, too strong.
All right, let's see what Rod Tiley thinks.
Well, I got to disagree with both of you. I think Valleys can get away with it this afternoon. Interesting to talk to a couple of the players. Gary Morrissey from Ipswich was here in the grand final of last year, much more relaxed than he was in 88. Brett Daunt was here in 88. He's much more nervous than he was then.
Well, Rod Tiley is Brisbane's answer to Lou Richards, the kiss of death. Therefore, I'm going for the Jets. All right, we'll take a short break and come back with all the action of the first half.
There's the hooter. And out come the Ipswich Jets. And I'll tell you, the crowd are behind this side. Darren Wolan's on screen moments ago, the big thumper in the side. And there's a lot of people travelled down from Ipswich to Brisbane this afternoon. There's the team. Tony Wattups is the fullback. The three-quarters is Sam Smith, Ross Williams, Craig Spark and Clinton Baker. The man on screen, number 6, is Gary Morrissey, the 5'8", and Ray Ovens is the halfback. Their forward pack, the front row is Tony Watson, who'll be in the run-on team. Bob Callaway goes to the reserves. Steve Parcells, the hooker and captain. Ben Olsen's the other prop. The second row, Andrew Walters, Brett's carts. Darren Wolans is the lock forward, and they're coached by Jimmy Landy.
Replaced by number 17, Tony Watson.
So Ipswich already on the park, remembering that they lost the grand final to Valleys last year. And here come the Diehards. Well, there's not as much support, Andrew Slack, for Valleys as there are for Ipswich.
No surprises there. Obviously, Ipswich are sentimental favourites, but here come the reigning premiers, led out by captain Steve Hegarty, and his accuracy with the boot today will again prove crucial. Valleys have enjoyed a good season. They've improved as the business end has come up. They've got in here the easy way. They beat East a fortnight ago. And there's the team. Steve Hegarty, the fullback. The wingers are Shane Buckley and David Burke. Centres Darryl Pitt and Murray Fettner. 5'8", Peter Coyne. Halfback is Brett Daunt. Forward pack for the Valley Diehards. Prop Rob Knight. The other prop, Lindsay Williams. Hooker Bill Holmes. The second row is Richard Boyes and Ziggy Strasser. The lock, Tony Catton, coached by Ross Henry.
So now we're in readiness. Valleys to kick off with Steve Hegarty. The crowd settle in their seats. David Manson hits the whistle. Hegarty kicks off and the grand final is underway. Ray Ovens throwing it from inside his own try line. And the big question, Andrew, can Ipswich walk away with the trophy for the season?
Well, I think if they maintain the form they've showed in the 2 semi-finals they've played so far, they're a real chance. Of course, grand finals, as we all know, involve a whole heap of things that don't happen through the season, the extra tension, and just from looking at the Valleys team as they ran out, there just seems more of a determination than they showed all year. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see their best performance. That's what the game's about, of course, trying to save your best for these sort of matches. But really, the skill level of Ipswich over the last few weeks is a credit to them. The first penalty of the match comes. David Manson calling out, I think perhaps a late tackle on the Ipswich kicker.
He's got Robbie Knight by the look of it. That will be on Ray Ovens with a half a jab of the elbow. And so the penalty comes to Ipswich as they find touch down towards the Valley's 22. And at this stage, we'll go to the sideline, and here's Rod Tiley.
OK, thank you, Alan. Well, a sports psychologist had a tape for the Ipswich Jets in the dressing room this afternoon. Jim Landy with very little to say other than get out there, weather the storm and then work the ball wide. Valleys will use the kick and chase game. That's the message from Henry.
So Andrew Walters has tackled inside the Valley's quarter. Now Parcell away to Ovens, picking up Watson. And the big front row forwards tackled 18 metres out from the try line. Now through Ovens and Morrissey picking up Williams. He's tackled by Daunt right on the 22-metre chalk. Now Carts away to Ovens and over to Morrissey. Nice pass to Rowlands. Just can't break away from the tackle. Underneath was Daunt. Walters. Now Ovens again for Carts. Slipped it forward. He's got Parcell for being in an offside position.
Perfectly positioned, David Manson here as Carts tries to get it around in front. Parcell ever in support, but a little eager that time. It does show the improvement in Brett Carts' ball play this year. He's been one of the perhaps unsung heroes of Ipswich's lineup. Does a lot of hard work in defence, but just showing his attacking skills as well, although they didn't come off perfectly that time.
So Valley's prepared to spin the ball wide on the first tackle with Strasser. He's 10 metres inside his own territory. Now for Richard Boys. Tries to run over the top of Brett Carts, but Carts holds his ground. Holmes from dummy half. Good creative play, this chapter, David Burke. Ovens is coming and has got time. Burke steps him, but he can't beat Tony Wattups, and that's great stuff from the diehards. Now Daunt goes to dummy half. Catton, here's Strasser, but the cut-out pass goes to Holmes, who created the movement. They're only 8 metres out from the line, the diehards, in the opening 2 minutes of the match. Over it goes towards Coyne. Back to Daunt. Here's Tony Catton. Andrew Walters takes him 2 metres out on the final tackle. It's now with Holmes. Over to Daunt. Where are the runners? Here comes Darryl Pitt. Flips it out the back. It's kept alive. Feckner comes back infield. Daunt. Strasser. Can they keep the ball alive? The answer's yes at the moment. Here's Buckley. Walters tries to get him. The kick's ahead. It'll go dead in goal. And that's terrific pressure from the reigning premiers.
Well, outstanding play from Valleys. All started from Billy Holmes back at dummy half, and that's where this game could be won and lost, the battle between he and Parcell. Buckley kicks there. I felt that an Ipswich player touched that ball and Manson should have ruled 6 again. Also, I think a try was Bomb Murray Fettner bringing the ball back inside. He had men to burn outside, took the wrong option. Ipswich can breathe a sigh of relief. That's brilliant attack from Valleys.
Yes, he had 2 over.
Well, we might rue that decision by the end of the day, but by the same token, I suppose we've got to give some credit to Ipswich's defence. They were at 6s and 7s, but they held on. Now here's Wolans. Getting injected very early in the game, more in attack than we've seen him all year, Darren Wolans. Ovens for territorial position.
Good kick.
Just outside the quarter.
And good common sense play from Ovens too. That's got them down away from that danger area inside their own 22. It settled them down, give their forwards time to regroup and forget about that last little bit of excitement that they had when Valleys looked near certain things. So clever play from Ovens. We're used to that from him.
Jim Landy on the sideline yelling instructions to his three-quarter line, especially out there Ross Williams.
Yes, Valleys are a team that once they get a roll on, they can run right over the top of you. And I think the plan, I think, as Jim Landy pointed out on our Wide World of Sports Queensland edition program yesterday, they have to hold Valleys in the first 10 minutes, and this is why. Here's Feckner, strong. And Birch knocked it on. Ipswich will pick it up with Morrissey, and he'll be driven into touch, and that might be a penalty. It is. David Manson had called help.
And look at the way Morrissey picks this ball up. Doesn't take the safe option of just falling on it, but backs his skills, and hasn't he got some? And there's the penalty. He's obviously been stopped in the tackle, then Pitt pulling him over, and Ipswich get their first real chance to do some attacking.
It's Watson. The big fellow scored a try in the knockout semi in the preliminary final against Norths and East. And here's Parcell from dummy half. And Andrew mightn't be far away when he said the dummy halves may control the outcome of this game. 2 of the best in the business. Here's Walters. Andrew Walters It's been touched by Valleys, and this will be play on. This will be a drop out from underneath the post. Walters trying to get that final pass away. But good creative stuff from both teams. Straight through Andrew Walters. Hegarty just gets in the road.
Good tackle from Brett Daunt. Saved a certain try.
So there's the dropout from Hegarty, goes down to Wolans. He lets it go for Baker. And he runs it back. Tackle by Williams and Holmes, 10 metres inside his own territory. Walters at dummy half for Watson. Strasser was up quickly in defence. 0-0 the score, 7 minutes gone in the grand final. Now Ovens, Morrissey, Walters wraps around. That's a great tackle. He's lost the football. The tackler was Peter Coyne. Here's Williams, straight at Ben Olsen. Also in there was Williams. It's Fechner now, over to Coyne. What-ups. Oh, it's beaten him and he'll roll into touch. It's end on end. Great kick from Coyne.
There's fine play from Coyne, and we talk about the Valley's halves of Daunt and Coyne as being great attacking players, but I noted Barry Muir this morning in his newspaper column saying that he believed it was the defence of those two that could win it for Valleys, and certainly Daunt's already saved a try with his tackle on Walters, and Coyne hit Walters again when he had the ball, caused him to lose it. Valleys got the ball back, and now they're attacking.
So Ipswich trying to get out of their own 22 as we keep you up to date with what happened early in the day. The Colts grand final, and Mark Murray's Redcliffe team defeated West in a crackerjack game, apparently 18-16. The third grade went to Redcliffe 24-10, but no joy for the Dolphins in reserve grade. North's winning that by 18 points to 0. And here comes Wattops into a bit of space, but the cover defence is too good from Richard Boys. So one thing about these sides, they're prepared to open up the game. Now Ovens, long pass to Parcell. And where's the backup on the inside from Olsen? He's dropped it. Ovens almost coming from an offside position. Wolans didn't, the ball knocked on.
Well, it's not the old traditional grand final start, is it? You expect both forward packs to bash each other at every opportunity, but what we've seen is the willingness to throw the ball about, and I, for one, reckon that's great stuff. I'm sure we'll see some of the physical stuff as the game progresses, but this is a joy to watch at the moment.
And here goes Pitt. And not the best of passes to Hegarty, who tidies up at the back. A very hot day at Lang Park this afternoon. This match been played at a crackerjack pace. So the last 10 or 15 minutes, if it's tight, would have to be in Ipswich's favour because they've had the hard, tough football leading into the match. Coyne over to Holmes. Oh, stands and delivers to Knight and back to Boys. And he's hitting a great tackle by Craig Spark. Buckley at the 22-metre line. 0-0 the score. Coyne. Here's Pitt. Baker left his wing, and Ovens will put this on the toe and dives on possession of the football.
Peter Coyne down in back play.
Now numbers out wide Ipswich. They've got him to burn. How's the cover from Valleys? It looks pretty good as it goes to Wolans. He's burst through. Runs into Hegarty, 10 metres inside die-hard territory. Ipswich look as though they're going to try and run Valleys into the ground. That ball wasn't for Walters, and they've coughed up possession.
Hegarty's down.
And Walters didn't realise it until too late.
Here's Fechner. I'm just wondering whether Ipswich tactics are to try and run Valleys rag, or that's forward. He's in an offside position. Well, he's only going to get the scrum, but he came from an offside position, Robbie Knight. Andrew, it looks as though Ipswich are trying to run Valleys ragged.
That was the game plan. Work it wide, take your opportunities, and weather the storm. So far, they haven't had the storm. Down in back play, Steve Hegarty hit by a charging Darren Wolans. He's hurt.
Here's Morrissey, and the cutout pass. He doesn't need a cutout pass. Now to Williams. Sam Smith with speed to burn on the outside. Back to Williams, and he's 8 metres out from the try line.
And I think that all started from what could have been a shepherd from Gary Morrissey, but nice attack.
Sam Smith's injured his own player, trying to get Williams up to play the ball. Cart's knocking it on, having a peep at the defence. But Ipswich obviously are just going to spin this ball, and they're going to try it and run Valleys ragged in the backs, and they want to stay away from the heavy stuff.
Well, it seems to be the intention of both sides. Valleys too are
are throwing it around. But in these warm conditions, one wonders how long they're going to be able to keep it up.
Coyne's got it back to Fechner. This bloke, you can't give him much room to move. The right man was at the right spot to put him down, Darren Wolans. Holmes turning it to Williams. Morrissey and Spark the tacklers. 12 minutes gone. 0-all the score through Dawn and Knight. Where's Strasser? There's Ziggy Strasser, and he's got him for being in front of the man with the football.
And that's a good decision from David Manson, right on the spot.
So a bit of borderline stuff here this afternoon.
Well, the replay will show because it's right on the marked area. So he gets through. You'll see the 10-metre line there.
Whoa.
Marginal, but I think he was right.
Well, What-Ups has now got possession of the football. Centre of the ground, midway the half and quarter inside Valley's territory with Carts. And now we're seeing a bit of forward play. And we're going to see Carts make a mess of that. All right, 12 minutes gone first half. 0-all the score. We'll be back in a moment. Darryl Pitt. 10 metres short of the halfway mark. Williams to hit it straight. And now we're seeing the game slow just a fraction after a torrid start. Big kick from Daunt. Is it too big or is it a gem? It's a gem. How far did that have to spare, Rod Tiley?
I tell you what, there was only a matter of centimetres in it, and as you called it, a great kick.
Yes, and both teams not scared about kicking before the sixth tackle. Shows a desire to play it in the opposition territory. Good thinking.
So Sam Smith coming in from the wing, and he's met by Coyne and dumped. What-Ups? Morrissey making a mistake. Well, that's probably why they're kicking on the early tackles, because both teams are coughing up possession, and our Valleys have a great chance right in front of the sticks, 12 metres out from the try line.
Communication, a bit of a problem for Ipswich. Morrissey didn't expect that, just as earlier when he threw it past Andrew Walters. Wasn't expecting it. Or was expecting it, wasn't for him.
So now Hegarty giving it to Coyne. Over the top to Buckley. He's for the corner. He's home for your team money, Shane Buckley. There's the first try of the match. Valley's in to score. Shane Buckley in on the corner. Valley's lead by 4 points to 0.
And I think we'll see the problems of playing a centre on the wing in this try, because as not the first time in the game, East's outside backs have left their post. Now watch here, see he's come in, Smith. Sam Smith trying to stop the movement on Fetner. That's left the overlap there for Buckley, and of course you don't need a fellow like Peter Coyne. You don't let him have those sort of overlaps. He's seen it. Buckley are clear under the line. Beautiful play from Peter Coyne, but a mistake from Sam Smith.
Great finishes, Valleys, haven't they? And Buckley and David Burke, they're always there to score the tries when they're offering.
And once again, as we were talking of communication in the Ipswich attack, it's broken down again in defence. Somebody should have been telling Sam Smith to stay on his man, but they're lacking in that area. They'll have to fix it up or Valleys will run right, because they're showing a real keenness to move it, and there hasn't been much spilt ball from their side of things.
Well, I heard Michael O'Connor talking on radio the other day, and he was talking about James Grant in the Sydney League, about wingers playing in centres positions, and he said that a centre can play on the wing. He does most things right until he's under pressure, and then he goes back to what he knows best, and that's what Sam Smith did. Under pressure, he went back to the skills that he knew, and that was to come inside.
Yeah. Now Hegarty is lining this kick up with very sore solar plexus. Let me tell you, he is not good since that hit from Darren Wallens when he took him head on. Let's see how he goes.
Hits it pretty well. Just away. No goal. Valley's lead 4 points to 0. 16 minutes gone first half. Restarts for Daunt. Whoops. Knocked back. Now the try scorer and Shane Buckley. He's 10 metres out from his own line. Now Williams to Strasser. Murray Fechner goes to dummy half, and over it goes to Knight. Makes good ground over the 22-metre line. He's pulled up a bit sore from that tackle of Darren Wolans too. And that's off an Ipswich player. Morrissey's got the football. and they're outside the 22. Now Carts. Ovens finds a gap down the short side. Carts backs up. And now Ipswich are only 20 metres away from scoring. Parcell gives it to Ben Olsen. And the young fellow's 10 metres out from the try line. Valley's in front 4-0. Now to Ovens. Over to Morrissey. Doesn't want spark, but he gives it to Williams. And Williams is well and truly wrapped up by Peter Coyne and also Darryl Pitt. Now Ovens. Morrissey. Carts, not the right time to give him the football. He had two blokes ready to put him on the deck. And Ipswich at the moment aren't consolidating.
Yeah, certainly not showing the composure in attack that they have in the past fortnight. Nice play then from Valley's prop Rob Knight. He read that pass from Morrissey, was going in on the tackle on him and then moved off onto the other Ipswich attacker and spoiled the pass. Good play from Valley's in defence.
Now Daunt. The Wattups will have plenty of time for that. Now, he takes Sam Smith with him. Does he give him room? Well, he gave him the ball, but he didn't have any room and he went to ground.
They threw it too early.
So Wattups from dummy half. Tackled by Williams, finished off by Buckley. Parcell for Walters. Oh, where's the support? It comes from Ovens. And now it goes through Morrissey. Turns it back inside to Watson. And the big bloke's off. 10 metres inside die-hard territory. Ziggy Strasser and Lindsay Williams, the culprit here. So a great chance for Ipswich to find touch inside the Valley's quarter. Well, near enough. Right on the 22-metre line is where Ben Olsen runs it straight. On the first tackle, they're only 13 metres out, and Parcell from dummy half. 5 metres out from the try line. Valley's organised their defence now through Olsen and Ovens, and he reverses it to Morrissey, and the pass to Carts, and Carts is 6 metres away from the try line. Now Walters, Ovens, Wolans has missed in the tackle. How's the support? He mightn't need the support. He heads for the line. He's 2 metres away. Now goes the short side to Morrissey. Olsen 3 metres out. They're on the final tackle. Valley's defence too good at the moment. Ovens Grubbers knocked on by Valley's, and Ipswich will come up with the loose head and feed.
Fine defence from Valley's there again from their other prop. Last time it was Robert Knight who read play well. This time Lindsay Williams, another good tackle, preventing what looked like an Ipswich try, but they've got it back, the Jets.
Ovens dives on the football.
Lucky to get it.
Wolans a dummy half. Can't get through the defence. He's tackled by Billy Holmes. Now Parcell, Walters looking, but it goes to Watson. And the big 22-year-old prop from Warwick is only tackled 3 metres out. Now through the hands of Ovens and inside to Carts. Back, it's kept alive through Ovens, and Morrissey has gone to Williams. Oh, great cover defence. Reading the play was David Burke on Tony Wattups. Great defence, the diehards. Peter Coyne this time. Ovens trying to step. Grubbers. Daunt takes it. Morrissey ruled offside.
Well, that's really very fine defence from Valley's. First from David Burke, who read the play. Unlike Sam Smith up the other end, he knew that if he came in, he was going to hit the player simultaneously, stop the movement, and then Peter Coyne some good work around the ruck as well. Valley's now out of trouble.
Any breeze on the ground down there, Rod?
Doesn't seem to be a heck of a lot down at ground level, but just looking at the flags, it's pretty breezy. But at ground level, not too noticeable.
Holmes for Williams. Wolans went high, got him shoulder. Now Daunt back to Catton. And here's Pitt backing up as Catton. Just nice, short, sharp stuff from Valley's. Backing up the ball carrier. Now Daunt, he decides to run. And that was almost to Morrissey, and that would have been shut the gate had he taken that. There was no one home. Now Coyne. Pitt. Valley's making good leeway, 10 metres away from the quarter line. Buckley. Ipswich get their straight line of defence back into position. So Fechner will go to dummy half. Coyne reverses to Boys and Catton. Can't beat Walters' tackle, and over the top was Ovens. So this is the final one on its way. Coyne in position. Does he put it high? He sure does. What-ups has got all day, though. It's an awkward one. Oh, here's trouble. Smith's put his foot over the dead ball line, but by golly, that could have ended up anywhere.
Tony What-ups kept his eye on the ball, ran into the post in doing so.
Well, you'd practice those for 6 months and never hit the crossbar, would you? But he's done it there, and that's really thrown What-ups. But fortunately enough, it bounced the right way, which get the restart.
So Tony Watson 10 metres outside his quarter. Walters to hit it up like a front rower. Oh, he's beaten Strasser, and the support's on the inside, but the cover from Valley's too good. Billy Holmes reading the play, tackled his opposite number and Parcell. Carts dummies and gets the pass to Morrissey. Wellens over the top to Spark. He's put it down, but there was plenty of Valley's cover coming. I wouldn't say that was a certain try bombed.
Well, I'd say it was close to it because Hegarty was there. Had he been able to draw the man and pass it to Clinton Baker, it would have gone close. But anyway, it didn't work that way. Lovely pass again by Carts. There's a good play by Wolans. Now, had he held that and drawn Buckley perhaps would have gone on to Baker. I might have to retract that, Tomo. But good play. Anyway, Carts really showing his worth.
Long pass to Coyne, standing wide. Morrissey's got him, but whoops, no spear tackles today. Pitt. A lot stronger than what he looks to, Darryl Pitt. Lindsay Williams. We've got 16 minutes to half-time. Valley's lead 4-0. Strasser runs into Olsen. He's lost the football. He's come from an offside position, Billy Holmes. Not much you can do about that. And so 2 points up for the offering here. Reefed away. And Billy Holmes well in front of the man carrying the ball. So Parcell with an opportunity. He's almost in front. He's 34 metres out. Valley's lead by 4 points to 0.
Last week, of course, in the semi-final, the preliminary final, rather, against Easts, Ipswich had a kick much closer than this one, in fact, to the post. Steve Parcell, as captain and also goal kicker, opted to take the quick tap, and it was from that tap that they scored a try. I'm a little surprised that he hasn't gone the same thing today on the basis as that's what he did last week. But if he can get the 2 points, obviously that's a start in grand finals. 2 points, perhaps it's worth a bit more than on a normal day.
Ray Ovens a little concerned with a cut over his right eye. It's to the side of it, actually, and they feel that it's okay now.
Hits it. How's it look? No goal. So Valley still lead 4 points to 0 as the ball comes back to the 22 for the dropout. So Coyne usually kicks these pretty well. If he finds the turf, it'll roll end on end. But Ovens is there, and now What-ups runs it back to the halfway. And he's about 5 metres shy of that mark. Parcell for Spark on the short side. Ovens. Carts. By golly, hasn't he been working hard? Brett Carts, he'll be looking for the water bucket at half-time.
The 2 number 12s have been out there. Ziggy Strasser doing a great job as well.
So Ipswich outside the quarter. Now Ovens, Walters. He can crack them, this bloke. And he found support from Morrissey. Oh, and here's trouble. Murray Fechner coming across as Parcell. He kicks ahead for Daunt. Ovens and Daunt and What-ups. Daunt will be there first. Will they? Won't matter. Murray Fechner will, and that's a try.
What a beauty.
Daunt didn't get the bounce, but the Valley's chasers were there. Murray Fechner was there. So was Buckley. Fechner gets the ball. 8 points to 0, Valley's lead.
Well, psychologically, what's that going to do to Ipswich? Gary Morrissey won't be pleased. He's the one who throws the pass here to Fechner, and Fechner's got some speed. There's a pass now. There goes Fechner. Look at Steve Parcell. Good play from Parcell. He kicks Fechner into that sideline. I thought Fechner might have beaten him for pace. The side's on the kick, and all then, and it's a matter of the bounce. Mrs. Daunt, Mrs. Ovens,
Nicely picked up by Petman, who chases his own kick. Great play from the Valley's three-quarter. Here we see it from front on. He knows he's got his supports inside. Faces it perfectly. What more can you do? He's got the bounce of the ball. And that, I think, psychologically will really hit Ipswich.
Yes. There's Beckner. Good intelligent play. It's a good football all around. Parcell doing well. And I'm afraid no one's got control over that.
No.
But once again, all marks to Valleys. They had two men backing up behind the runners.
Let's remember, of course, that last year Ipswich shot to a 10-0 lead in the grand final and eventually got beaten 17-14. I'm sure Steve Parcell will be making that point over in the far corner right at this moment.
Good kick.
Over. Valleys lead by 10 points to 0 and there's 12 minutes to half-time. Starts, and I wonder if there's any panic down there on the Ipswich bench. I'd say Jimmy Landy would have to be starting to get a little bit worried. Gripping onto that arm pretty tightly with a bit of tension. 10 points to 0. Valleys in front, 11 minutes to the break. Tony Catton.
And there is no need for Ipswich to panic. They've got 11 minutes, as Alan said, and they really need to score before half-time. But if they can just get the resources back, but again, a lovely kick from Valleys. They're playing it very sensibly, aren't they?
Yes, exactly the game plan.
What's the senses over in the Ipswich bench, Rod?
Well, I tell you what, the tension is rising, and as you mentioned, Jim Landy's starting to really feel it as he hangs onto that arm. The reserves are starting to get the look of where do we go from here about them, while in the Valleys camp it's a look of relaxation.
Well, of course, the big plus that Ipswich have got in their favour is they've got Bob Callaway sitting on the bench. Now, he's an experienced player, state of origin player. Now, he will come on at some stage of the match for Tony Watson. And I suppose if Ipswich are in trouble and you want to look for inspiration, you might look to Andrew Walters. But Oven's coming from an offside position. Ipswich not controlling the football. But Bob Callaway might be their last straw.
No movement as yet on the bench, though.
And there's the man.
Look, I really don't think 10-0 is panic stations by any stretch of the imagination, and they've just got to, as I say, maintain their composure and not panic. And then I think if Valleys keep playing the way they are, both defensively and attack-wise, they're going to be hard to beat. They're playing extremely well. But it's not the end of the day for Ipswich by a long shot. But no, I wouldn't be thinking of replacements at any stage yet.
No, this is one bloke who can really sort of cause them a lot of problems from here if they give him easy shots at goal and their discipline starts to slip. Then this fellow will slot the 2-pointers for them.
Well, the thing we've seen in Ipswich today that we haven't seen in the knockout semi and the preliminary final is they're not controlling the football.
Yeah, that's right. You could count the number of times they dropped the ball in the two semi-finals on one hand, and they've done it about 10 or 15 times. In fact, they've made 15 errors in the game. Valleys only 8.
So Hegarty with a little bit of breeze at his back, almost in front. He'll just steer this. Swinging away. No goal. So 10-0. The Diehards lead, defending their Rugby League Grand Final crown. A dropout to come about from Tony Wattups. Buckley. Wolan's is first there. I'd suggest he might run away from him. He didn't. He took him on and beat him. Just at the halfway mark. Stratton through Catton now. And Burke. Nice tackling from Spark. Fechner takes it up. A quick play. Finds Daunt now and Coyne. Back to Boys. And the big second row is 10 metres inside Ipswich territory. Holmes. Coyne looming beside him. Couldn't get his pass away. They're on the final tackle. It's a play-on job. Daunt's gone without it, and then Ipswich have knocked it on. So he's ruling the change over. So just outside their own 22. The Jets with Ben Olsen. Valley's very committed in defence. Watson Oh, dear oh me. That's exactly what's costing them the football game. He'd done all the good work, and the ball actually dropping out of his claw. Now, one thing that Ipswich don't want to do, they don't want to let Valleys in once more before the break, otherwise it will be tough. Valleys are playing it well. They're playing in the tough professional manner to which we've been accustomed over a long period of time. They're the most successful club in the Brisbane Winfield Cup. They've won the premiership 15 times. And the football they're displaying in the first half is one of the reasons why. They don't call them the diehards for nothing. But 10-0 they lead. Coyne to test Baker out. Now, can he get out of there? No. Great stuff, Peter Coyne. Good kick, good chase, good defence. Just good rugby league.
Well, Peter Coyne came back from a season in England. We see that's a left kick. The left foot kick he's put in there. He's got all the skills. He's a normal right footer. But he came back from England early in the season, having played over there, and looked pretty well as if he'd had enough of rugby league, and didn't play to anywhere near the standard he did in '88. But today, it's as good as we've ever seen from him. Having a brilliant game, Peter Coyne.
So David Burke outside the quarterway. Haggerty from dummy half gets it to Fechner, and he's big enough to take them on. Williams will be for the next settler. Just methodically making territory, the diehards. Now Knight takes it up. They find themselves 10 metres away from the line. And then he's going to lose the football. So Ipswich will get a reprieve. 6 minutes to go before the break. Valleys in front by 10 points to 0. Straight out the tunnel. Crowd a little bit excited. Well, I've said it a number of times through the year, Andrew, that if Ipswich are to get back in the various matches we've seen them play, Ray Ovens is usually the man that starts it and most times finishes it. And Ipswich are going to be really depending on him. So Tony Wattup's tackled at the 22. Ovens getting up slowly to his feet. Now Watson. That's better stuff from the Jets. Walters. Just short of the halfway. Now it's going to be spun through Morrissey. Now Williams. A long pass to Smith, but Pitt's got him covered with Buckley. And Sam Smith's on the halfway mark. Williams running across. Who's he looking for? Walters. But he was on his own. Now they're on the final tackle. Ovens. It's come off Holmes. Goes into touch.
Right to go. Let's go, Jets.
So Ipswich will come up with the feed. Sam Smith on the wing. They can put him into a hole. It's pretty quick over the ground. Morrissey now. Williams. Good stuff coming around from Darryl Pitt. Wattup's. Back it goes to Spark. And he's tackled 27 metres out from the line. Now what can they do with Ovens and Morrissey? Carts, and they have the overlap. Oh, it's been knocked down by Brett Daunt. And Valleys have done that a lot today. Ipswich have just been probably delaying the pass just a fraction too long. Well, Valleys are reading it very well, one or the other.
Yes, well, you take a risk when you come in, but every time they've taken that risk today, it's worked for Valleys. In fact, they turned into 6 points on one occasion.
So now, let's have a look at the clock. There's 3 minutes 40 remaining before the break. Darren Wolan's diving on the football. It's still Ipswich possession. Valleys lead 10-0. Ben Olsen. Back it goes to Parcell. It's kept alive through Ovens, and now Morrissey. It goes to Williams. Back to Wattup's. And Darryl Pitt is tackled beautifully in those first 40 minutes. Ipswich going backwards at the moment. Watson back to Walters, who has to run it. Play on, Carts, Parcell. And Valleys getting between the ball carrier for Ipswich. Morrissey over Burke's head and Haggerty's. It won't go dead. Haggerty runs it over the dead ball line. So with 3 minutes remaining, a drop out from underneath the sticks. Valley's in front, 10-0.
Yes, and you said it then, Alan. Valley's getting themselves between the ball carrier and the support, which good play from Valley's, but Ipswich supporters should take heed of that and try and get a bit closer to that ball carrier so they can slip the pass away.
So Hegarty to drop out. It's a big one. It's over the halfway mark. He's kicked that 60 metres. What a kick. Now Wattups runs it back. Catton waits for him, and so does Coyne. And Coyne puts him down. Craig Spark from dummy half. Coyne again, the tackler. Can't quite get him. Craig Sparks 10 metres short of the quarterway. Watson might hit this up on the short side. That's him now. At the 22-metre line. Parcell to Ovens. Inside to Carts. And that's what they're doing. They're pushing the passes, the Jets. Benny Olsen standing as a centre. Right on the quarterway. Now Williams. Back to Carts. Down to Andrew Walters. Ovens. Now Williams. Tony Watson. Parcell can't beat Coyne. Yes, he can. Morrissey kicks. That's for Baker. Burke will be there first. 1 minute 35 to the break. Ipswich trying to keep the pressure up.
I think they're trying to make the ball do too much work. They're just trying to spin it and spin it. Nobody's actually taking on the opposition on a one-on-one situation.
So Hegarty has a look at the clock. Takes all day to come around to drop out. .65 seconds remaining. A grubber one. Oh, Ovens must be crook. There's something wrong with him. But take the ball there and throw a pass to a man smaller than you, that far out from the try line, tells me he must be hurt.
Maybe it's the shoulder, as Henrik said it was.
Well, there's been a few times I felt that Ovens would have a go himself, and he's elected to dish it on, so there may be something in that. And there goes Ipswich. Last chance, no, Ovens has fallen on it. So they've still got 41 seconds.
Now it goes to Carts. Runs it up the middle. He's 10 metres short of the 22. Watson tries to get it over the advantage line. He does. He gets it over the quarter. He'll play it back to Parcell, to Ovens, and then to Olsen. Inside to Walters. Walters. 8 metres out. 17 seconds on the clock. The final tackle on its way. Now to Ovens. He stabs through. It's saved by Buckley. And Valleys have done it very well in the first 40 minutes of the match. Buckley plays the ball. The half-time hooter goes. And at half-time, it's Valleys leading Ipswich by 10 points to 0. Let's go to Rod Tiley.
OK, and with me on the sideline, the pride of Ipswich and Alan Langer, obviously here to see the Jets win, mate. How do they get up from now?
Yeah, well, mate, they've got to cut out their mistakes a bit, but, you know, that try against the run of the play probably let them down a bit, but they've just got to come out in the second half and cut their mistakes out.
Where do you think Valleys beat them? In which players?
Well, probably their defence. You know, their defence has been very good. You know, in the last, 10 minutes there, they stopped Ipswich from scoring, so probably, they've got to get through their defence.
Alan Langer giving his version of what he thought of the first 40 minutes, and we'll be back with the second 40 after the break. Mr. Nil, let's go to Rod Tiley and find out what happened in the dressing rooms at the break.
Both coaches pretty controlled. Jim Landy was telling Ipswich that they had to cut down their error rate and watch their ball control. He said they had a lot of opportunities in that first 40 minutes and weren't able to capitalise. When they come their way in the second 40, they've got to be able to get over and score tries. The Angry Ant, singling out Peter Coyne for a lot of praise, said that he'd done a fine job in that first 40 minutes, but he wants them to keep it tight in the middle. He fears Andrew Walters doing them more damage.
So Valleys have possession. Bad midfield. And midway between the quarter and the halfway as Coyne puts the ball downfield for Smith. Now he takes Buckley on one-on-one. And over the top came Coyne. So in the end it was 2-on-1. Oh, a nice little scoot up the short side from Wattups. He's got to stay in the field of play, and he does so.
Good tackle from Lindsay Williams, the prop.
And Wattups plays it ahead. I still think, Andrew, I know Valleys are in front 10-0. I still think if Ipswich can stay in range till about the last 15 minutes of the game, as Craig Spark runs to the 22, I think fitness is going to come into this match. And Ipswich with the hard, tough football in the last 15 minutes, if it gets to be tight, they have to have the advantage. And I think one of the things Parcell should be telling his players is that not to give up, just try and hang in there. And in the last 15 minutes, the advantage and fitness has got to come their way.
Yes, well, Ray Ovens a kick there. I expected him to try and test Steve Hegarty. It was a bit of a nothing kick, and Ray Ovens, as we said before half-time, just doesn't look quite the player that he has been. Whether or not he's injured, well, who knows, but he's certainly not putting in like he has in past weeks. But I think from Ipswich's point of view, you're dead right, but the key is that they must defend well. Once they defend, that's okay, because if Valley score next, well, I think it's pretty well full time, the game's over for them. But they've got to defend well, let their attack take care of itself.
So Billy Holmes takes it outside his own 22 on the final tackle. Daunt. Now this is going to bounce and sits up for what-ups. Can he beat Strasser? No, he can't. Ovens for Olsen. And he's 4 metres inside Valley territory. Valley's lead 10 points to 0. Tony Watson. There'll be a big 10 or 15 minutes asked from Jim Landy before he'll be replaced by Callaway, I would imagine. Now Morrissey gives it back to Walters. And Tony Wattops has tackled 10 metres inside Die Hard territory. Now Ovens and Morrissey again. Over the top, and that's offside. Well, who got his hands to it first? Was it Pitt? Buckley coming from an offside position by about 3 metres. Yes, Darryl Pitt, and there's Buckley.
Very good refereeing from David Manson. He's had a fine game, and that certainly needed some composure, and he was on the spot. He knew what happened. Decisive ruling, and Ipswich get another chance. But gee, Gary Morrissey's heart must have been in his mouth, because he threw the pass for the intercept when Valley scored before. So Gary Morrissey perhaps trying a bit too hard.
Okay, now the Jets with a chance. Here's Watson towards the line. But once again, Valley's defence magnificent. Now with Parcell. Ovens now runs the open side to pick up Ben Olsen. And he's tackled about 8 metres out, and there's a blue on.
Wallens and Darryl Pitt.
This could be tactics here by Valleys to spoil and settle things down. David Manson in now.
Darryl Pitt and Darren Wallens will be the two they call out.
Did you see what happened, Rod? I was following the football.
Well, it was just a case of Darryl Pitt went up into the line in defence, and from my point of view, it seemed to be that Wallens didn't like it much.
No, with the right cross coming over the top. I guess he didn't as we look at the replay.
Well, I didn't see the punch thrown.
Now, what's he going to rule here, David Manson? A penalty going to Ipswich by the look of it, is it? Yes, it is. So what do you do, Andrew Slack? You take the 2 or do you keep going?
Well, again, on the basis of what he did last week, I'd have expected him to take the tap. But the way he's looking at the moment, yeah, no, that's what he's going to do. Take the tap. They're 10 points down.
Here's Andrew Walters now. Struggles to the line 5 metres out. I think Ipswich know they have to psychologically crack the Valley's defence if they're going to win this grand final. Morrissey holding it up, and Darryl Pitt went right in on Williams. He knew where the ball was going. Now Morrissey keeps it going with what-ups now.
Williams tried to trip then.
Strasser around the ankles. Valley's defence just so strong at the moment. Morrissey gives it to Carts. He steams to the line 5 metres out. He'll play it quickly back to Parcell. A speculator to Olsen. Ovens, Morrissey, here comes the defence. Watson has to hang on to the football. 10 metres out on the final tackle. Ipswich just can't find a way through. Parcell, little kick in. Oh, that's knocked on by Valleys, I would say, or he might have missed it, or I've missed it, one or the other. That looked a knock on from Peter Coyne.
The Ipswich supporters down this end don't like the decision.
And I think they should either.
But the bottom line out of all this is that Ipswich can't crack the diehards' defence. Ruled it probably not back. Out wide, here goes Pitt. That's knocked down by Olsen, and that'll be play on.
Poor play from Ben Olsen. Knocked it down and then made no attempt to retrieve it, but Gary Morrissey was offside. He couldn't do it, and Valleys get the chance to attack again.
So Holmes trying to be driven back by Parcell, and David Manson ruling that Holmes has lost the football of his own accord. I don't really think that was a smile from Jimmy Landy. If it was, it had a nervous twitch in it. This is a vital part of the game for Ipswich. They've been attacking for the first 7 minutes of this half. They've had Valleys down in their own territory, and Morrissey almost away. A quick play the ball to Craig Spark now. They come the same side with Watt-ups, but he doesn't have support. That's 2 tackles gone. Spark gives it to Walters. He's 12 metres out. Parcell to Ovens. And Cart's coming inside at the 10-metre line. Valleys look short on the right. The ball goes that way through Ovens and Morrissey and Spark, and Williams gives the pass to Baker, and that's been the story of the match so far. Ipswich can't control the ball. Hands, and Baker should have taken it fractionally behind him, but there's plenty of cover, and now Daunt gives Coyne the football. And Valleys are inside their own 22. They've been finding it hard to get out of there in the first 8 minutes of this second stanza, but they lead in the football game in the grand final, defending their championship. They lead 10-0. Robbie Knight's hit by Wolans in a top tackle. Catton got a bit high by Ben Olsen. Cart's over the top. It's a little messy in there. David Manson getting in very quickly. Good refereeing again. Buckley. Now the final tackle's on its way. Both wingers are back. Coyne putting the kick in. Now this will give Smith room to move. Fechner's a pretty strong defender, but Smith has got straight around him. And then he's looked too late inside. Looming on the inside was Craig Spark, but he never looked for support, Sam Smith. Now Ovens. Valleys up fast. Quick hands. Andrew Walters runs to the gap. But the great diehards defence hangs on. 10-0 the Valleys team leads. Walters plays it to Olsen. And then to Ovens. And Carts now. Wolans. Wolans tackle. Valleys getting up fast in defence. Obviously naming their opposition and tackling. Morrissey. Long pass over the top to Watson. And now he's going to drop it. The thing to do then would have given it to Baker, who was unmarked with speed.
Well, that's right. We saw David Burke save a try in the first half coming in. This time he came in and things went wrong. The pass was there to be thrown, but Tony Watson dropped the ball. There he is, and it could have been just a quick pass to Clinton Baker. Ball went to the deck, but Ipswich again have the put in and still attacking. Can they do anything with it? Valley's defence remains strong.
Valley's looking like the Rock of Gibraltar as Morrissey runs. And here's Ovens. Tackle by Catton. Now there's a quick play the ball. It goes away now through Parcell and Cart. There's a chance now. Sam Smith will score. Ipswich are in. They've finally cracked the defence. Well, could this be the turning point of the game? Sam Smith in the corner. Valleys had held on for 9.5 minutes in the second half so far, and they still lead, but it's 10 points to 4.
Sam Smith.
Sam Smith gets into a gap that's just about shut the gate. There's not too many blokes on the park who'll match him for speed.
How much has Brett Carts improved in his ball skills this year?
A lot. Much improved player.
I think he's got to be a very, very unlucky omission from that Queensland resident side.
Parcell from the touchline. It's 10-4. It's coming back. Oh, it's hit the upright. No goal. Valleys lead 10 points to 4. 12 minutes gone, second half. But that will give the Jets some heart. And I still keep thinking back, Andrew, I think the last 15 minutes is going to tell a big tale in this match if it's close. But how can you blame Valleys for letting in a try? Their defence has been absolutely unbelievable. And it was only through very good attacking football from Ipswich they were able to get over. And now Olsen's found a new lease of life, and so has Tony Watson as Williams waits for him. And this very pro-Ipswich crowd are getting behind the Jets, and now Ovens goes for territory. Burke has got it covered. And there are not many chases from Ipswich, and they're not in a straight line. And Burke almost broke it. Billy Holmes. Buckley. Good run from the winger, almost at the halfway mark. 13 minutes gone, second half. The diehards in front of the grand final, 10-4. Williams hit by Darren Wolans. Oh, that'll have to lift any team. And the crowd appreciate it. I don't know how long he'll stay in Brisbane football. If he doesn't end up with a Sydney contract in the next year or so, I'll be a bad judge, Darren Wolans. Now Coyne, and he's got a bit of room for Fechner. Gave him a nice ball, and then he backs up. Now Fechner gets the pass, and the gaps are opening. Holmes tackled by Parcell. Lost the football, and Ray Ovens has picked it up. He's away. The cover's coming. Took the tackle on the halfway mark. Now it goes through Smith and Williams and Walters. Quick hands from What-Ups has found Craig Spark. He's over the halfway mark.
There's those ball skills of Ipswich coming into it. Can't set up the try now. What-Ups, the quick hands, got Ipswich going.
Tony What-Ups, 10 metre on the 10 metre line. 10 points to 4, Valleys lead. The chance coming for Ipswich as Andrew Walters gets it back to What-Ups, and it goes to Morrissey. And he's got it back to Parcell, but it was forward.
They're just trying to attack from too shallow a position at the moment, Ipswich. If they lined out deep, they'd be better off.
I think Gary Morrissey thought he was being pinged for throwing it after being tackled, but it was the forward pass, and Manson once again right on the spot.
So here's Brett Daunt, links up with Peter Coyne. Then it goes to Darryl Pitt, who tries to get around Spark, gives it back to Coyne. And now Buckley's going to knock it on. And do I detect a little bit of pressure coming into the diehards?
Yes, I think you do. Well, territorially, Ipswich have been well on top in this match. Thank heaven rugby league games aren't won by yardage. But they've had to defend a heck of a lot, and there's the pass from Buckley. And again, Sam Smith has come in off his wing. Had Buckley taken that, he'd had a free run.
Now Williams, he's tackled. What-Up's a dummy half on the side to Craig Spark, and he'll have to run it straight, and he does so. He's crunched to the ground. By golly, the centres and Valleys are doing some tackling. Darryl Pitt was in, helped by Strasser. And now to Andrew Walters. He's missed by Williams. He's over the 22, and now he's going to lose it forward. He's thrown it forward to Wolans in an offside position. Morrissey limping back into position.
Yep, bit of an ankle problem for Gary Morrissey. They've fixed it up with the trainer on the field. And Andrew Walters in jersey 41, having torn the other one.
So Brett Daunt decides to have a gallop. He'll play it to Buckley, and over it goes to Holmes. And back inside to Hegarty. He was waiting for him, was Ovens. Coyne's calling for it. The kick's on. No, the dummy. And inside is Strasser to a great gap. Parcell's got him covered in cover. Cuts him down.
David Burke was outside calling. He didn't get the ball.
Now Valleys are starting to string it together. As it goes through Tony Catton, a long pass, and Holmes doesn't have the numbers. He's only got Buckley, but Buckley creates something for himself. Held onto the pass now to Billy Holmes. Holmes going for the corner. He's a metre out from the try line. A quick play, the ball's needed. Buckley at dummy half. Catton, Daunt, Hegarty, cut out Hegarty, and Coyne found Darryl Pitt. Great countering tackle from Williams. 2 metres out from the try line on the final tackle. Now it's Richard Boys. He's tackled, and this is what grand finals are all about. Great stuff. 10-4, Valleys lead. 17 minutes gone in the second half, and the diehards coming back brilliantly after being under sustained pressure.
And Ross Williams saving that try with that tackle along. Cut-out pass might have seen Valley score in the corner. Williams read it well, came in and Ipswich out of trouble. Ray Ovens, though, not out of trouble.
But Parcells out of tackles. Back to Andrew Walters. And he hangs on to the ball at the halfway mark. Now to Wattops and Ovens. Oh, the crackerjack pace of this game to Wolans. He's met by Darryl Pitt. He's put to the ground with the help of Murray Fichtner. They're on the final tackle. The kick will be on from Ovens. He finds Burke. And that might go into touch. No, it's come the other way. Now can Burke beat Baker? I say he can. Can he beat Morrissey? No. And so this ball going up and down the park. Darryl Pitt's got his hands on his shoulders. Robbie Knight's got his hands on his hips. There's a couple of tied players on either side. Ipswich not going up as fast as they were in defence because they're starting to feel the pressure. It's anyone's ball game.
Ray Ovens in the back cover defending for Ipswich. He injured himself in a tackle on Holmes before. He doesn't look 100%, hasn't played as if he's 100%. I just wonder if Jim Landy's going to consider replacing him.
Well, at the moment, Robbie Knight's got to consider what he's going to do with the ball, and Burke put it down.
High tackle from Wallens on Knight. But they missed it.
What a crackerjack pace the second half. Here's Knight. Wolans got him a fraction late too, but he got away with it. So Ovens feeds the scrum, and here comes Wattops. We're into the real tough stuff now. We're almost at the halfway mark of the second 40. Brett Carts over the advantage line. Valley's in front 10-4. Now Tony Watson runs it hard. Neither team going up as fast in defence now. The legs are starting to get a little bit rubbery. Here's Williams. Pass to Wattops, he's dropped it. Knocked back, says David Manson. Ben Olsen, tackled by Catton and Strasser. The final tackle's on its way. Is the high ball on, or is it for a touch? It's for touch, and it'll find it right onside the 22-metre line.
Well, that's the tactics Ipswich have adopted. They just want to keep it down there, play the sidelines, go to the scrums, even though Ipswich Valleys will get the put in. But I am surprised that he hasn't tried at least one bomb on Steve Hegarty.
£10 to 4. The defending premiers, Valleys in front. Last year's grand final was a crackerjack, and this is going the same way. Lindsay Williams trying to back up Murray Fichtner. And Fichtner's made a good run, and then he's found Williams in support. 10 metres short of the halfway. Knight finding it hard to get those feet pumping. Now Holmes over the halfway, a good run. So Valley's in a chance now with Coyne. They're inside Ipswich territory. Kicks for position. Has Baker got the speed to cover it?
Hit the post.
Hit the post. And that's in goal, so that'll come back to the 22. And as the play comes back to the quarter-way, we'll go to the break. But don't go away, we'll be back with more in a moment. Or short of the halfway. He plays it to Walters. Long pass to Carts. Have they got numbers? Williams inside to Morrissey. And he's on the halfway mark. This is the final tackle. Ovens will have to get rid of it in a hurry. Beats Daunt, finds touch on the 22.
Well, haven't we seen some line kicking in general play that would do justice to absolute top competition? It's been superb. Coyne and Ovens, the exponents of it, and they've hardly missed one.
Ipswich hoping Valleys will come up with a mistake inside their own 22. Valleys lead 10 points to 4. Brett Daunt from Coyne at the back, and Hegarty's to come in the back line. And the pass is beautifully delivered to him, but he was tackled by Williams. Buckley, 10 metres outside the 22. Knight runs it at Wolans. Wolans going a bit high again. Got him around the shoulder.
And put an elbow in as well.
Want to be very careful, Darryl Wolans. Here's Catton up the short side. Back to Knight. Short of the halfway. Wolans again giving him something.
Graham Albert stands his ground. He should be in there.
Now Coyne. What's on? Billy Holmes is what's on. And here's Hegarty in support. Inside to Hegarty. Murray Fechner's on mark. He'll be under the post. Valleys have done it. Billy Holmes the man. Billy Holmes has created havoc. Murray Fechner supports. And is that the last nail? 14 points to 4 Valleys lead, but gaps opening up all over the park. And it's Fechner's second try.
Well, not only brilliant support play from Billy Holmes as he steams onto that pass, but also reads it beautifully. Maybe suggestion of a forward pass, but marginal. You couldn't really complain. And then Hegarty reads the call from Fechner on the inside, turns around. It's beautifully played. It's just a matter of supporting and running straight. And Billy Holmes, the man running straight who starts it, really is running like a three-quarter. Then Hegarty the same thing, straightens things at the fullback. Fechner going in the same angle, right under the stick.
And that could be the telling tale. Because Ipswich had thrown everything at Valleys, and by golly, to Valleys' credit, don't they stand some pressure? And then they've scored a try from their own half, with Billy Holmes probably the most consistent player all season. Obviously not by the referees, because in the Rothmans gold medal, he never got on the board, on the leaderboard anyway.
Changes being made now. The Ipswich bench starts to get mobile. First man off is Gary Morrissey. Errol Hunter will come on to replace him as Hegarty lines up the kick.
Holmes only got 4 points in the Rothmans gold medal as Hegarty tries to add the extras. He does so, and Valleys lead by 16 points to 4. We'll be back in a moment. Morrissey off.
Had an ankle injury.
Errol Hunter, the man who's replaced him.
The change is sparked to 5'8", Hunter in the centres.
Lindsay Williams, well, I wonder how much energy's been sapped out of the Jets with that try.
Yeah, well, it's going to be difficult now. They need to score within the next 5 minutes. If they can, well, it's all back on. But they just, on only one occasion, they've been able to breach Valley's defence. It's been superb. And one can't think with Morrissey, perhaps the real spark in Ipswich has attacked today. He's made a few mistakes, sure, but he's caused Valley some problems with him off the field. With Ray Ovens, not the Ray Ovens we've come to see during the season. I can't see Ipswich doing it.
So Tony Wattups runs it back. Coyne waits for him with Fechner.
Gee, he's worked hard. He's really taken it up all day. He's got the physical substance of the puff of smoke, Tony Wattups, but he's just taken them on, played extremely well.
Olsen's out wide, coming up the centre. Back to Parcell. We've got 15 minutes remaining. That try of Valley's coming right at the right time for them. Now Cart's at the halfway mark. Walters straight through. Andrew Walters. He's just outside the quarter and he's lost it. And Walters was offside, but he's going to rule the knock on first.
Well, he's done that more than once, Andrew Walters, today. Played pretty strongly, but you've got to look at the negatives, and I would think half a dozen times in the tackle he's tried to get the pass away or just coughed it up, and it's these mistakes which have cost Ipswich, although they've won it against the feed.
Now here's Craig Spark now, outside the 22. Valley's in front 16-4. Now Watson, but Ziggy Strass has tackled all day, hasn't missed anything. Off goes Williams from dummy half. Lindsay Williams puts him down. Now through Ovens. Carts back to Ovens. Now through Craig Spark. But Fechner rides him into the Lang Park turf. 12 out from the line. Wattups now on the short side. It goes to Benny Olsen. He struggles to the line. He's only 3 metres out. Clinton Baker at dummy half. Now it goes to Ovens. Kicks through. And Hegarty pushes it dead. Drop out from underneath the sticks. 13 minutes to go. Ipswich have to score around this passage of play to get any possible chance of getting a draw.
First time we've seen Ray Ovens really take off after one of his own kicks.
Paul Fitzgerald on.
Right, there's a change. We'll just confirm that with Rod.
Fitzgerald on and Boys is off.
It says Richard Boys coming off. So Hegarty gives his team time to suck in the wind. And a big kick to the halfway mark for Wattups. Now Parcell trying to sneak around the fringe of the ruck. It goes to Ovens now, reverses inside to Watson. Back it goes now to What-Ups and Olsen. Inside to What-Ups, back to Andrew Walters. And Ipswich are inside the quarter, but Valley's defence is magnificent here this afternoon. Now to Olsen, through Ovens and along past the Spark. Here's Williams, but Coyne getting up quickly. Valley's outside backs have been too fast in the defence department. Ray Ovens float ones over the top to Hunter. One around the corner to Ray Ovens. Ovens 5 metres out on the final tackle. Sam Smith goes to dummy half. Parcells the link man. Up it goes. Hegarty takes it brilliantly. It wasn't Hegarty, it was David Burke. Did it well under pressure, David Burke. Here's Fitzgerald.
Robbie Knight's been replaced now, and Tony O'Neill comes on in jersey 14. That'll mean a rearrangement in the back line. I would imagine Pitt into the forwards and Burke into the centres.
Darryl Pitt. 11 minutes to go. Now Catton clearing. What-Up's coming in on the run, takes it, tries to spin out of a tackle. Finished off by Paul Fitzgerald. Now Baker. Olsen hits it up. Valley's defence too good at the moment. Now Parcell to Ovens. Inside to Walters. Backing up is Carts. And he's going to lose it forward. And I think Ipswich are now starting to struggle. They see the clock ticking away and they can see the grand final slipping away from them as Bob Callaway comes to the sideline.
He's the last ace in their pack, isn't he? And he's the sort of man who can get those passes away. That's where Ipswich have let themselves down today. They've tried too often to do it. The ball's gone to ground.
Coyne just outside his own quarter, tackle by Spark. Fitzgerald away from dummy half. Billy Holmes running. Floats a nice pass for Burke, who's missed by Walters. He's also missed by Watson. He's almost at the halfway. Daunt. Dummies. Buckley's beside him. Shane Buckley. That's it. That's the grand final. It's all over. Valleys have done it. They've done it because they're a tough professional outfit. They've been well skilled by Rossi Henrik. Shane Buckley in to score 20 points to 4. Valley's lead. Shane Buckley. Shane Buckley scores his second try in this year's grand final. And there's the two men on screen. The man that set it up, Brett Daunt, and the man that finished it off, Shane Buckley. 20 points to 4.
Brett Carts comes off. Graham Andrews goes on.
Well, he's played his heart out, that man on picture, Brett Carts.
And Valleys will make a change in a moment with Cameron Grigg. He'll come on for Tony Catton, and we'll play it lock forward. And Cameron Grigg can tell his Valleys teammates all about football in Perth, where they'll go over and play after winning this premiership, because that's where he's from.
So Hegarty should just about throw this over with his ability. He does so, and Valleys lead by 22 points to 4. And Andrew, as play comes back to the halfway mark, when we look back on this match, it was that Murray Fechner try that did the damage. At 10 points to 4, Ipswich were right in it up to his ears. Daryl Pitt been relieved of his duties a little bit early, and hasn't he tackled well?
It's a fantastic defensive effort from Daryl Pitt, and I think perhaps that one was one of the crucial reasons. OK, can pinpoint Fetner's first half try as perhaps one incident, but generally I think it's been Valley's defence which has won them the game. Their attack has been super when need be, but they just haven't given Ipswich a look in, and Daryl Pitt, that man in midfield, he's really stopped the Ipswich attack in its tracks.
I think in the first half Ipswich certainly didn't play to their potential, but in the second half Ipswich has played top football up to about the last few minutes, and Valleys have been able to withstand the pressure, and that's what grand finals are all about. That's knocked down by Ipswich. It's about withstanding pressure, and Valleys did that, and when the opportunity came to score the try, they did that.
Yep, that's a fair summary.
Now number 19 is on for Ipswich.
That's Graham Andrews. 71 is out there as well. That's Jack Simpson, who's come on for Clinton Baker on the wing.
Now Coyne, Fechner. In the last six and a half minutes. Yes, they're a depleted and dejected bunch, the poor Jets. Well, I'd say the poor Jets, but Valleys have just been too good. Just too good. And once again, the die-hard spirit lives on over at Newman Oval. And today will give them their 16th win in the BRL Premiership.
Yes, and a big effort from Rossi Henrik. The last time a non-playing coach won back-to-back premierships was Ron Raper way back in 75-76. Des Morris did do it the following 2 years, 77-78. He was captain coach of East at that time, but it was Ronnie Raper over at West who did it. Now Rossi Henrik for the diehards in 88 and 89. Good effort, Ross.
And Bob Callaway has come on. That's him with the football now. And so as Ipswich spin it through Spark and Walters, they might go to the sideline and Rod Tiley.
And down with two of Valley's defensive stars in Richard Boys and Daryl Pitt. Richard Boys, the sort of game you enjoy playing?
Yeah, mate, it was pretty hectic out there for most of the game. The forwards are pretty thorough battle in there. The heat was pretty bad, you know, only in the first half. It was very hot out there.
But it looks good for Valleys.
Yeah, mate, looks like we've got it sewn up now.